everyone, I'm Mrs Jennison, and now we're going to look at another required practical for rates of reaction. This practical is one in which we are reacting to solutions that produce a gas, and we are collecting that gas in a way to measure rate. So what I need to do that is something called a gas syringe. Now this collects any gas produced so that I can measure a volume from that gas syringe. And what we're going to do is I'm going to time how long it takes to make a specific volume of gas. And the gas that I'm going to measure will be 20 centimetres cubed. The reaction I'm going to use is the reaction of calcium carbonate with hydrochloric acid. And you may remember from C4 that produces carbon dioxide gas. I've got different concentrations of hydrochloric acid, so I'm going to change the concentration and I'm going to keep the mass of my calcium carbonate the same each time. So I also need a balance. I've got a measuring cylinder to measure out my volumes of hydrochloric acid, and I've got a delivery tube connected to my gas syringe that will fit into my conical flask. I've also got a clamp stand to hold it all up for investigations today. I am going to use 2 grams of calcium carbonate, or as close to 2 grams as I can get, as it's going to be quite difficult as it's lumps of calcium carbonate. So as you can see, I've measured out a little bit too much there. So I've measured this out onto my balance, which was zeroed before I started to measure. And I've got just 1.99 grams, so just about as close as I can get it to 2 grams. I'm going to add my 2 grams into my conical flask, and then I'm going to measure out 50 centimetres cubed of acid, 0.25 molar. So I'm going to measure that out with my measuring cylinder. Now this is where I'm going to have to be really quite quick, because at the start of this reaction it will be the fastest. So I've got to make sure that I get my cork into the top of the conical flask quite quickly, whilst also pressing start onto my stopwatch. So now you might be able to see just here that the gas syringe is starting to move, and that's because the gas produced from this reaction is pushing it out. And we want to time until it gets to this line here, which is 20 centimetres cubed. I'm just swirling the mixture to make sure that it keeps reacting. So now we've got it to 20 centimetres cubed. So I'm going to disconnect that cork, and you can see that it actually stays in place. So I've stopped my timer, and that took 2 minutes and 5 seconds. But I want this in seconds so that I'm measuring everything in the same unit. So 2 minutes and 5 seconds is 125 seconds. Now I'm going to repeat this with different concentrations. I did 0.5 and 0.75 molar earlier, so the next concentration I need to do is 1 molar. So now I'm going to do the investigation with 1 molar hydrochloric acid. So I'm going to make sure my gas syringe is back to 0. I've got my stopwatch ready, cleared and at 0. And as soon as I add my acid, I'm going to add my cork and time how long it takes to make 20 centimetres cubed of gas again. So in it goes. Again, I'm just going to swirl so that we can see it reacting. Okay, so we've just made it to 20 centimetres cubed, and that took 15 seconds. So if I add that into my results table that I made earlier, Here are the results from my investigation. Now, normally I'd do this 3 times and calculate a mean to check for any anomalous results and to calculate a more accurate mean.